Shalom, everyone. Welcome back to Talmidei Yehovah. I'm Moriah ben Avraham, and today we're wrapping up our series on Torah study tools. In parts 1 and 2, we explored some fantastic apps for your handheld devices. And today, now in part 3, we'll take a closer look at websites that are invaluable for studying Torah and Tanakh. Each site offers unique tools and resources that can deepen your study and understanding. So let's get into it. The main reason I use the Blue Letter Bible is for in-depth Hebrew word studies. The interlinear translation is invaluable for such studies. Let's go to Breshith chapter 1, verse 1, just to illustrate this point. Right away, you can see under tools, I have interlinear, Bibles, cross-references, commentaries, dictionaries, and miscellaneous. As I mentioned, for me, my main focus is on the interlinear because I love to do in-depth word studies. And so with a single click, you can quickly see the words, all the Hebrew words. You can then drill down to any particular word. Let's say we wanted to study the word bara. So I can click on this word. I can see now the Strong's definition, bara. I can also immediately see that this word is used 54 times. It's translated 54 times in the King James Version. And it's 42 times as create, 3 times as creator, twice as choose, twice as make, twice as cut down, once as dispatch, once as done, and make fat once. And you can click on any of these to actually see, like, let's say, for example, if I wanted to see where it was used as dispatch, I could just click on that and get right to that particular instance of where it was translated. Hitting the back button, I can go back. Beyond that capability, which is already a very powerful tool, we can scroll down and you can see beyond the Strong's definition, which is in many cases very basic or let's say limited because it's mainly based off of how the word was translated. But then you have lexicons, which are actual scholarly works that provide the definition from a Hebrew perspective. So, for example, we have Brown Driver Briggs lexicon. You have definitions there. And you also have Gesenius's Hebrew lexicon, which actually gives you sort of a screenshot of the definition as it appears in the actual hard copy book. You can always read the full entry by clicking on the link there. And again, this is just a powerful tool. So let's say, for example, we wanted to see the root of a word. The word bara is already at its root, so there was no need to dive any deeper there. But perhaps if we go to another word, for example, you can actually scroll forward in this to see other words. Let's say, for example, if we saw, bar burim, for example. If we looked at this word by just scrolling forward, we have a Hebrew word here, bar burim. And you can see that the root of this word is actually bar. And then you can just click on that bar and immediately get to the root of bar, which is barar. We can click on barar. We get all the way down to the very, and we can see that it's being translated as choice or pure. We can go down and look at the Strong's or the just Brown Driver's Briggs, or we could see the Gesenius, which is my preferred place to go if I really want to dive deep and understand the definition. And so we can see that it has this sense of kindred roots of bara, like that, baram. But here they say to separate, to sever. I will separate. And we can open it up to select, to choose, select chosen. We can get into other meanings of it. We can see that it has the sense of pure, neat, to explore, to search out, to be empty, purge, to purge oneself, to act truly gracious. So this is a powerful tool that enables you to do deep word studies very, very quickly. So this is one of the main reasons I like to come to Blue Letter Bible. Blue Letter Bible also gives you all the tools that you saw in the handheld app, various translations, Another helpful tool sometimes is if you're studying a particular verse, let's go back to, let's say, Bereshith chapter 1, verse 1, and you wanted to see, well, let's see how other translations rendered this. Using Bibles is a quick way to see all the different various translations that are available within the Blue Letter Bible and how they may have translated this particular verse. Another powerful tool that I do use is to cross references. We showed you this when we went over the handheld apps, but it's worth us just taking a quick look again at how powerful this particular application actually is. Next up, let's explore Sefaria. You can find Sefaria at sefaria.org. I frequently use Sefaria online, meaning the website app, when I have Zoom open and I'm studying Torah with friends. Let's go there, Sefaria. All right, so as you can see, I have Bereshith chapter 1, verse 1 open. And when you're in Sefaria, you can change the layout on the app. You can see just the English if you want. You can switch it to see the Hebrew only, or if you want to see it side by side, which is what I like to do, especially when I'm studying with friends that I get together with often to study on Zoom. I like to have both the Hebrew and the English open side by side. When we study this way, it's a very convenient tool because you can, with a click, open up the resources and see commentary. We have Rashi, Ibn Ezra, Rambam, all kinds of commentaries. You can see there's over 500 commentaries on this particular verse. Beyond that, if you wanted to dig into, let's say, just this specific word, I don't know, maybe I forgot what this word means, Bereshith. I needed to understand the definition. I could just double click it, and now they've provided a quick definition for the word. So I love this capability of being able to now see the definitions. This wasn't always here, but they've added this some time back, and it really makes this a more powerful tool. Another thing that I love Sefaria for is if I do need to find a particular word in Hebrew. Let's say, for example, I'll look up the word Sefarad. I was looking for that a few weeks back. So basically, you could type in the Hebrew word Sefarad, and with that, I could just now search for this word, and I find immediately, okay, there's 3,871 sources and 335 sheets. But maybe I'm not interested in every source, because this is going to check all kinds of sources, not just the Tanakh, but we're talking about the Mishnah. We're talking about, all kinds of other, like Sidurim, just all manner of sources, because everything's available for you in Sefaria. It's like a complete library of text. You can see we've got Tanakh, Talmud, Midrash, Halakha, Kabbalah, so many things. But what I like about this tool is that I can now limit my search, and I can say, I was curious to see where this word was used in Tanakh. I knew it was used in Tanakh, couldn't remember where. Boom, one click, and I'm there. I can see now where this word was used in Tanakh. So this is, again, another powerful tool at your fingertips when you go to sefaria.org. Now, up next, we're going to go to another one of my favorite apps to use online on the web when I have my laptop open, let's say, for example, and I'm using a browser, is Bible.com, also known as YouVersion. Personally, I don't use this app a lot, but I do know people who do, mainly because they like the TS 2009 translation, which is a translation that at least doesn't pervert or substitute, let's say, for example, the name Elohim with the idol God. And if you don't understand that God is an idol, please look at our video on who or what is God, where we explain that God is not a translation of the Hebrew word Elohim. It's a substitution. God was worshipped as an idol anciently, and we should not refer to Yahweh, our Elohim, using the name of some other Elohim that was worshipped by those who don't fear Yahweh. So again, I prefer this if I am going to use an English translation, because it helps people avoid making that substitution if they're just trying to read the English. They also do a good job with some of the other names of our ancestors instead of following the practice of just obliterating and ignoring the actual names as they were originally called. For example, if the name is Avraham, then we should not say Abraham, right? That his name was not Abraham, his name was Avraham. So we should use the names, or let's say, for example, the name Yitzchak. If that's the name, don't call him Isaac. His name was actually Yitzchak. So that's what we want to actually do. We don't want to really get into using substitutions. We want to respect and understand the name the way it was actually called, because there's meaning conveyed in that, and that meaning is lost when we do substitutions, and it's also grossly disrespectful. Now, moving on from this tool, I want to show you studylight.org. I honestly don't use this tool often, but it's one of the tools I have in my bag. Why? You might say, well, the main reason I have this in my bag is because if you're getting into a deep word study, you can look up a word here. Let's say, for example, I want to study a word here, and maybe I want to study the word Av. I'm going to go to lexicon, and then let's say, for example, I hit Aleph. I'm going to get to the Aleph here, and Av. I see the word Av. I click on the word Av, and right away now, what's nice about this tool is that it's going to give me the ancient Hebrew lexicon definition along with other definitions. And this is the main reason I prefer sometimes to use this tool, especially if I'm trying to help people see how to use the pictographs to get deeper into the meaning. So here you can see that the letter Aleph is drawn just anciently, just like the head of a bull. The pictograph represents strength. And Beit is drawn just like a tent. You've got the door here, and you've got a bed chamber here. So this Beit anciently was drawn like a tent. Together, combined, these mean the strength of the house. So Av meant the strength of the house. So this is, again, a powerful tool that one can use to understand how the ancient pictographs added depth to the meaning and understanding. And basically, they used pictures for these letters, and the meaning is carried with the two-letter pictographic roots. If you want to understand more about that, do take a look at ancienthebrew.org. Take it for what it's worth, but it does provide some depth of understanding when you're trying to dig deep into the meaning of Hebrew words. And finally, I want to point your attention to Chabad.org. Chabad is another great tool. I go here sometimes because I'm really looking for some Jewish commentary. And this is another resource that has all manner of learning materials and resources that you can use. They're at your fingertips. For example, if I want to study something in the Tanakh, you click on Tanakh, you get here, and you can choose any particular verse you're looking for. You choose whether it's in the Torah, the Nevi'im, which is the prophets, or the Ketuvim and the writings. Let's say, for example, again, we wanted to look at Bereshith. We get to Bereshith chapter 1, verse 1. You have the option to see both the Hebrew and the English, or if you want to switch it to just see one or the other, you can do that, or see both. And you have an option to turn on Rashi's commentary, which can be very beneficial. So that's one of the main reasons. Sometimes I'm looking to understand this text with greater depth. I'm wondering how some of the commentators may have viewed it, and this particular resource can give or shed light on some of the text and its meaning. So this is another great useful tool. You can also study the parashah through this website. Let me just show you that real quick. So you've got, let's say, for example, weekly parashah. You can click on that. Man, there's a wide variety of resources that you have to get into an in-depth study of the weekly parashah. This week, we're going to be reading Vayetze. You've got it in a nutshell. You get an aliyah summary. That means it's broken down into the 7 aliyot, and you get a summary of each aliyah. You have the complete Torah reading. You have a roundup, Vayetze roundup, an audio recording, and an interactive Torah trainer. So there's a lot of good learning that you can get from this site as well. So I encourage you to try all of these websites and benefit from the depth and the power of these online tools. In conclusion, these websites, Blue Letter Bible, Sefaria, Bible.com, StudyLight.org, and the Chabad.org are incredible tools for anyone studying the Torah and Tanakh. Each offers unique features to help you delve deeper into the text and connect with its meanings. If you have a favorite website or tool that I did not mention, let me know in the comments below. We are students of Torah, Talmidei Yehovah, and we'd love to hear from you. And thanks again for watching this series on Torah study tools. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated on future content. Until next time, Shalom, Shalom.